Okay, my topic today is various topics. I'm watching this media frenzy. The first topic is about tariffs. Now, I'm recording this video. I want people to listen. Here's the thing. Trump promised tariffs during the campaign. Every single one of you people heard it. It was broadcasted on the mainstream media. It's broadcasted everywhere. He's keeping a campaign promise. Now I heard a few farmers are getting mad at the tariffs and thinking about voting Democrats in office. Now, these farmers need to do a little research, learn how to go on the internet and Google and find out that tariffs was always a Democratic thing. Democrats came up with tariffs. It's always been and always will. Trump just adopted it, but he adopted it because he knew that there was a deficit between other countries that trade with us, and then we trade with them. But let's think about this. You said you're going to vote Democrat, farmers, okay? You think the tariffs are going to go away? No, because the Democrats accept the tariffs. They might go on TV and say they don't like it, but honestly, it's been their policy for a long time. And the honest Democrats, and I call them honest, and I don't like them, because I don't like the politics, but they're honest. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. They have admitted they still like the tariffs. They're the only ones in the Democratic Party that are being honest about that. So, honestly, you're not going to get the tariffs removed. You're going to still have the tariffs. So, just putting in a Democrat is not going to help you. And plus, if you put the Democrats in office, they have a assault weapons ban of 2018. 23 senators, Democratic senators, support it. Over almost every House of Representative member supports it. And this gun ban, the supposedly assault weapons, bans over 300 guns, including common handguns, rifles, and shotguns. Especially if it has a pistol clip, which doesn't make it automatic fire. Any gun owner knows a pistol clip does not change your speed. It doesn't even change the velocity of the gun, the speed of the gun. All it does is, it basically keeps when you're hunting, it keeps your target steady. Hunting animals and stuff like that. But farmers, really, think about this. Do you really want our guns confiscated? Because to be honest, that's the first step. It's the assault weapon ban of 2018. Then when Democrats get in office and they control Congress, then they're going to go further. Because they have the power to. They have the power to go further than what they did. And if you give them two-thirds in Congress, in each chamber, in the House and the Senate, they get two-thirds. Then they can override even the presidential veto from Trump. See, you got to think about that. You got to think about that before you make a decision. Okay, second thing I want to talk about is liberals are mad because the Sinclair broadcast group has challenged the mainstream media narrative of anti-Trump. And said they put up a kind of pro-Trump message that the media is one-sided. Now, here's the deal. That's fact. According to Harvard Law School, 98% of the media is anti-Trump. That's Harvard. Harvard is one of the biggest liberal law schools ever. You think they would lie in favor of Trump? No, they would not lie in favor of Trump. They said 98% of media is anti-Trump. 98%. Well, they said the stories, let's get technical, 98% of the stories are anti-Trump, which that's fact. And that's what Sinclair Media Group said. That is one-sided news. And they tried to bring a different side in the local news market. Now, these journalists that work for Dale, some of the media directors are upset because of this message. But it's a 60-second message. Okay? That is based on facts. It really doesn't promote Trump. It just promotes the truth that it's one-sided national news media, which it is. Thousands of media outlets, including your local news outlets, except for the Sinclair, I guess. But honestly, I've seen Sinclair media outlets attack Trump. So this will be the first time I've ever seen somebody say it's one-sided from Sinclair, because they haven't attacked Trump too. Some of the media outlets do the negative news about Trump too. It's not like everybody does favorable, but it's nice for them to admit it, because they were part of it, you know. But anyway, the fact is this, and let's get technical. When there's a story about Russian investigation, you get one partial fact, and then everybody will speculate what that means. And that goes across thousands of mainstream outlets. And it's tended to make Trump look bad. You had the Stormy Daniels lawsuit, and she never produced evidence, but they kept broadcasting it day after day after day after day to make Trump look bad. Now think about that. That's one part. Then you got the tariffs, which I already mentioned. Well, some of the Democrats actually support the tariffs. But they never want to mention that. You know, they try to hide that from the public. And even when there's something good like the economy, they try to say it's because of Obama, or because, or try to make it look bad even though it's good. You know? And see, the thing is, it's time to step up, and we got to understand that the media is biased. The media is influenced by their viewers, their leaders, or whatever. And majority of the viewers and leaders of the mainstream media are liberals. I'm not going to lie. That's why Trump lost the national popular vote. I do believe there was some illegals voting, but most of it is because of the fact that this nation has more Democrats in this country. And the reason why is, but the thing is, they're not in the rural areas. They tend to be in the majority populations, the big cities, and they tend to not want to go outside to the rural areas. So you have some Democrats in rural areas, but you have more Republicans in rural areas. And that's the reason why the national popular vote doesn't really matter, because you got more rural areas, you got more conservative areas in the United States, but you have more Democrats in population-wise in the United States. So that's why we go by electoral college, because we go by the areas and not the people. So, and people say, well, you shouldn't go by a piece of land. But, you know, the thing is, when you got more rural areas in the United States, that's why they should have more influence. I mean, because they're more spread out. Republicans are more spread out than what Democrats are. So, I think we need to understand this. I mean, there are certain issues we both can work on. I mean, I personally am pro-police, but I do think there are some situations we do need to work on that. We need to look at, some of these events where there's unarmed shootings, and we need to have more independent investigations instead of them investigating themselves. Um, I, for one, do support independent review boards. Uh, and well, they have citizens actually do investigations, but I think you can't. But as citizens, you can't really be the top line investigators. You need to have somebody that has law enforcement experience to actually interview witnesses and um, do checks, ballistics and stuff like that. You need to hire what they call advisors, and these advisors will be doing the first line of investigating. Um, and you got to know policy. The citizens will have to know policies, but the citizens got to have subpoena power. They got to be able to, get all the information. So that's the difference. I'm pro police, but I do believe we got to have some kind of review because I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, or whatever. When they make it out, just the minorities get all the ones that are getting unfair acts by police. But the truth is, just every race is suffering from that. It's just the minorities are the first ones to actually come out, and the media actually goes, to report it. But if we can get some kind of independent review board, get it some advisors that would take full side that would not know ballistics and stuff like that, and they can do that. I would be okay with that. I think we need a little criminal justice reform, and even President Trump has talked about prison reform. He's talked about trying to get people that are getting out of prison to be ready to get out of prison and not want to get out, but not want to go back to prisons. Lisa Dizovision, I can't even say the word. Programs to help them succeed outside, and also programs to help them get jobs, even though they might have felonies, but help them get jobs because he doesn't want to see them come back in the prison system. And he's called for the death penalty for like high level drug dealers, but he's talking about like cartels and stuff like that. But he also said in the same sentence he don't want to see low level drug dealers to go through the same type of sentencing as somebody that's a high level, like your street dealer. He doesn't want him he wants less of a sentence on the issues like that, for low level street drug dealers, because he knows they're not the ones getting the drugs themselves. It's usually the cartels and all that are ones that are bringing it in, and they find these low-level street dealers, offer them all his money and stuff like that. He knows that. He wants to actually go after the cartels. And some people don't support the death penalty for the cartels, but they're the ones that are actually causing, they support the death penalty on people. So the cartels do, so I'm just saying, But anyway, I think those two issues that we both can work on, both parties. But the thing is, I get back to the topic, and we need to actually understand that Trump has just tried to keep with his policies. He can't get the wall because Congress won't give him it. Unfortunately, it has to go through Congress. The only thing he can do is tariffs on Mexico. But the problem is he's obligated to that NAFTA until he removes it. And I guess he could give 6 months notice and take 6 months to get rid of it. But he can also renegotiate NAFTA, which he's in the process of negotiating NAFTA, so we can charge the tariffs to pay for the wall. But it would have been easier if Congress would have got the money and then put in their taxes for Mexico, but Congress is... The problem is Republicans, we got moderate Republicans, and I know people say, well, I don't want moderate Republican now, but the problem is they come from moderate states, and you can't. Well, it's either a moderate Republican or a Democrat, and the Democrat's gonna be worse than a moderate Republican because the Democrat's gonna go full liberal, meaning banning guns. Um, we're gonna go to single payer, which people say single payer is a nice thing, but all taxes are gonna rise. There goes the tax cuts because we're gonna have to pay for it. Pay for the single payer. And they say, and a lot of things people don't understand is that they're going to also they get rid of religious, Democrats, if they come into power, they're going to get rid of religious freedom. You're not going to be able to um, be able public place. You're going to be zipped your lip on talking about God and Jesus because the Democrats will throw away that because they're already in the process of saying that we got to leave Christianity out of the public places like courthouses and city hall and stuff like that, and free speech really doesn't exist when you're a Christian. As long as you're in public places like government buildings and stuff like that. So, because they try to say it's endorsement of religion, but it's not when the government itself is not endorsing it, and it's not endorsement of religion. It's just allowing people to speak their mind, and to avoid, if you want to not be able to do a gay marriage, well, the Democrats are going to force you to. If you own wedding-related business, here's the transgender issue. I mean, I'm still against transgenders going in locker rooms and locker rooms, and the reason why is let's take a so-called transgender woman, as they call themselves. They still have the anatomical parts of a man. They have a wiener. I'm going to call it what it is. And when they shower, and they're showering with little girls, these little girls are saying a guy's wiener. Because the guy says he's a woman. So, let's be honest. Do you really want a little girl to be forced to see a guy's wiener because the guy says he's a woman and dresses like a woman? It's up to you, but when you force it on every single public accommodation place, you have no choice when the government, and that's what Democrats want to do. And immigration is getting out of hand. There's thousands of people rushing to the border to the United States from Mexico that came from Central America right now to come here illegally, brought by some group that calls themselves Without Borders. And not Doctors Without Borders, but something like People Without Borders or something like that. And taxpayers are paying for those illegals when it comes to schooling, or they have an American-born child, then it's welfare and stuff like that. We can't afford that. I mean, look at California. California's paying the most for those illegals because according to California themselves, the California illegals, almost 60% of the population is illegal. And that when they were there to protect, trying to get rid of some, get rid of the census question. They didn't want the census question on citizenship in there. They admitted it. So let's face it. And I'm going to get sanctuary states all over. This whole government, federal government, becomes sanctuary, meaning that we'll have open borders. If you have Democrats in power, whether it's president or whatever. So let's face it. We have to stick to Republicans. If we don't stick to Republicans, and that includes Trump and our local Republicans, we will not be able to have this country. I don't care if you're black, Hispanic, white, or Asian. If you're an American, I'm not talking about if you're an illegal immigrant. If you're an American, This is your nation. And do you really want to shop out the nation? Because judges will become liberal, and there goes everything that Republicans established for you. There goes everything that Trump did, including the tariffs that will help you, help people in Pennsylvania, and help people in Wisconsin, and help people in West Virginia and stuff. There goes those tariffs because the liberal judges will get rid of it. Because the liberal judges, even though many Democrats won't get rid of it, they're hoping the liberal judges will, because the liberal judges hate Trump. So, yes, you get rid of, but there's a lot of things that you need to understand why the tariffs are there. We need to fix this country. And we need to protect gun rights. We need to protect gun rights. We need to protect this nation. We need to protect Christianity. So please, understand, vote Republican in 2018. Protect this country.